Peace, peace. What's good, family? It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, I'm really excited for this fast. I'm hoping the storm outside doesn't cut off any electricity before this live. That would be unfortunate, but yeah, I'm very excited for this upcoming fast. Summer is one of my favorite time of the year to do a length or an extended fast, but it's going to be great. Wait for a few more people to join in before we get started. Peace, peace. How we doing today? Beautiful B. Thank you for joining the live session today. I appreciate you. Peace, peace. Thanks for joining the live today. I'm definitely going to answer some questions at the end of the live. And maybe it'll be more clear, but I'm just going to talk about a few things before I start answering questions. That way we stay on topic. Yes, I do have TikTok. It's Brandon Ahmad across all platforms. Whether you're searching me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, it's all the tag's always going to be Brandon Ahmad. If there's anything, if it's spelled differently than how you see it on here, then it's not me. It's somebody that's taking my content and just trying to scam people into do like readings and whatnot. So just be mindful to pay close attention to how my name is spelled, and also looking at the follow count, like the follower count on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, even YouTube is fairly large compared to the scam accounts that are using my name. So just be mindful and make sure you're being aware of that. Peace, peace. One of our members is in the building. Thank you for joining the live session today. I appreciate you. Yeah, you got to be mindful of how much energy you're using while fasting. Just because when you are fasting, there's still other things we have to do outside of working out, whether it's being there for your family, working, for your job or your business, whichever the case may be, and just day-to-day movement. So you just want to make sure that you're not doing too much. But I always work out while I'm fasting, but it's more of a basic routine. It's nothing too crazy. Peace, Cheryl. Thank you for joining the live. I appreciate you. Peace, peace, Rose. Thank you for joining the live today. I appreciate it. Yup. It's a lot of fake pages, man. Sometimes what's crazy about it is that the fake pages they'll have more, I guess, they'll make more waves in the algorithm than me. Like they'll get more reach with my content than I would with my own content, which is crazy to me. But and they make it difficult to report these fake pages because a lot of times a fake page is going to block the real page. So I can't see it, nor can I report them. So it's more so up to the people when they recognize it that they have to report it. And a lot of these platforms aren't going to do it unless you're paying for that additional service. Like if you're paying for a blue check on Instagram or Facebook, they might give a little more urgency to kind of support you and get that resolved. But yeah. Facts. Yeah, AI is getting out of hand. I like AI, but I don't like it when it's feeding people thoughts. I like it to kind of revise what I've already given it and fine tune it just to but I just don't like it I feel like a lot of people are using it to replace thoughts or to be just to be something or not. Like, just a lot of people, some people could use AI to mimic your voice. And it just gets wild in the realms of AI once you start to dive into it. Peace, Leslie. Thank you for joining into the live session. Sanitra, peace, Queen. Thank you for joining the live. Yeah, do me a favor and hit the like button. I would greatly appreciate it. We're about to dive in, and I'm gonna do like an intro about how I'm going about my fast. Just a quick intro. It's nothing new if you're familiar to the channel. And let's see. 4-day dry fast. That's what's up. That's really challenging. That's one of the hardest fasts to do, especially for that length of time. It takes extreme amount of discipline. I wouldn't recommend it for many out there, but it's good to do consecutively throughout the day. Like I always do a dry fast to start my morning. Like as soon as I wake up, I don't immediately drink water or eat anything. I might do a dry fast 2 to 3 hours after waking up. So sometimes even longer, depending on how I feel. I try to listen to my body, but also, your mind and spirit. Peace, peace. Oh, that's great. I thank you. I really do appreciate the support over the years, or however long you have been watching me. Like, I really do appreciate it. Yes, this live will be saved. I will leave it up, so no worries there. I have been archiving the other lives just because YouTube they do some funny things with your monetization. Like a live session that doesn't perform as well as the others, or maybe as well as your actual videos for content, might drag your monetization down. So I do kind of leave up some of the live sessions for members only, but yeah, I'll keep this one up. But yeah, anyways, so I'll be starting, my juice fast on June 21st, and this is giving me a full week to prepare. So, I have a full 7 days from today to prepare for it. So, hence, most of the content for the rest of this month will be geared towards this fasting. So, and again, in my opinion, summer is one of the best times for fasting. Like the temperatures of like usually around here in Pittsburgh, we're around 70 degrees and up. And that's very comforting during an extended fast compared to when you would normally do it in the fall or winter. Even spring can be kind of iffy when you have temperatures like dropping down to 20 degrees or less. Very not not good, especially when you're losing some of that weight, whether it's waste or weight. But it's very comforting when you have those warmer climate temperatures. And that's why, summer is one of my favorites. Not only that, but I would say this time around is you can find a lot of good produce. Like we're talking maybe seeded watermelon will start to come more around, and the seeded grapes. Even in the summer, I can still find wild crafted burdock root at the local food co-op. I mean, it's kind of going out of season by the time you start to reach the middle of summer. But when you're fasting in June here in Pittsburgh, I'll say, you can still find wild crafted burdock root from time to time. Of course, you got also cherries. Um, I don't know if I mentioned rhubarb is another one. If you're someone who is looking to improve their vision, vision is one of my biggest things that I like to work on when I'm fasting. Um, it's raining outside, kind of crazy, but I love the rain. Rain is very comforting. But anyways, rhubarb is one of the best. Uh, it's one of the best vegetables to consume for your vision. So, and that's heavily in season right now. There's a lot of it. So I'm gonna be implementing that a lot as well. But a lot of great produce during the summer. So just so many are aware, if you're new to the channel, I do adopt a fasting routine every season, and it lasts anywhere from 7 to 30 days, right? And I always strive for the maximum 30 days, but I'm content if I can manage a week. If I could go a full 7 days, I'm content with that. I'm very satisfied with 7 days. So I've determined this 7 to 30 day range based on my previous fasting experiences. Right? I fasted multiple times over the years because it's very beneficial for me. I feel the most productive when I'm able to cleanse. So I was able to learn about myself and really figure out my capabilities, my boundaries, and when I can stretch them a little further. That's very key. Like, if you're new to fasting, you want to test the waters and don't just dive in or do it because somebody else is doing it, but you just jump in, do, like, if you're new to it, do anywhere from a 24 to a 72-hour fast, or implement intermittent fasting. That helped me a lot when I first started this journey or my journey in health. And I got to really learn more about myself, my capabilities, my boundaries, and then how I can push it further and reach past the limits that I once had. And that kind of helped me stay, what I would like to think, in pristine health. Like, people ask me, what's my hair care routine? What's my skin routine? Fasting is a big portion of that. And I'm just somebody that's not worried about my weight. You know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that. They feel that maybe I'm slim because I eat plant-based. No, I've been slim for my whole life. You can't find a picture of me where I've been obese or overweight, and that's just because that's how my body was designed. You know what I mean? So we gotta step out of the mindset of assumptions. I see many are still under the assumption that when you eat a certain way, you're gonna look a certain way, and that's not always the case. Even if you have traveled, you travel to the Caribbeans, you'll see a lot of people that eat heavy foods still look a certain way. And that's just how I was, you know what I mean? Like, I was always just the slim dude. I would be at Thanksgiving dinner eating off everybody's plates when I was young, but I would never gain nothing, but I would have all that waste trapped in my colon. So it's like it might not look like I'm putting on any weight, but I am, because it's just sitting there and it's not moving, or it's taking longer to release from my system. But yeah, it's just I've been this way for so long, but I just learned that fasting allows me to feel at my best. It allows me to reach certain levels that I never thought was capable. And it helps you break certain systems, certain cycles that you might be struggling with, like addictive cycles that you might be struggling with. I just try to implement a lot into my fasting. I even try to implement more abstinence. You know what I mean? Make sure I conversate, have that conversation with my wife. And sometimes she even fasts with me as well for a couple days. She'll never go to 30 days, which I'm not expecting that. But it's just great to, tap into communication and as much as you can on your fast. But not to get sidetracked, but this time frame, it also not only lets me test my boundaries or be acceptive or what's the word, receptive of any shortcomings. Like even if I just do 7 days, I could be content with that, right? But it's also allows for unexpected life events. You know what I mean? Like, of course I would want to do a full 30 days, but unexpected life events could be such as like family obligations, your work, maintaining an active lifestyle, and so on. Like, so I know a lot of people who will ask me, they might be into fitness, they might do a lot of weightlifting, or they might be working a construction job for X amount of hours, and they'll ask how long, they can fast for. But for me, it's just knowing those circumstances and expecting certain unexpected things. And you can never really dictate how long you're going to go, but at least you can find that a safe range that can still help you push your limits or get something very beneficial out of it. So that's how I come up with 7 to 30 days, that nice comforting range. So if you're considering starting a fasting routine, right, you just need to find a timeline that fits your lifestyle. It just got to make sense for you. I'm not suggesting, and I'll be showcasing what I'm doing on my fast, but I'm not suggesting that you should join me either. But if you're interested, I'm inviting you to take this walk along with me. You know what I mean? Because I feel like when you're able to see other people tap into that energy, it's very, I don't know, it's something about the energy that really makes you want to do better too. And I'm gonna circle back to the conversation, at least the questions or the comments, and a few too, but just bear with me here. So not a while ago, let me say, when was it? I believe it was Monday. I had to go for my yellow fever because I planned to travel, to where they require it. So, and that's been like, I want to say, nearly over a decade since I gotten something like an immunization. Like I'm talking like before it was like the flu. Back when I was like 16, 17, I was working at Target and they were saying that it was mandatory when it really wasn't. It was just me. I didn't really know better at the time. And this was when I wasn't even really on, like a health journey. I wasn't really tapped into that, about what can occur or what can happen when you let certain things get into you. I'm not going to get too much into that because I know how, shadow banning works on here. But anyways, it's been like over 20 years since I gotten something like that, but you know, it was required for where I am planning to travel to. And this, my upcoming trip, it has motivated me to partake in this fast as well. I do it every season, but it was just that extra motivation for me. And, you know, this is an opportunity for me to cleanse my body of toxins and further improve my health. And, you know, I'm going to just continue to explore during this time different or various methods of detoxification. So during the fast, I'll be preparing a green juice for 3 consecutive days each week. And that's going to be like my preferred blend, which consists of dandelion greens, watercress, cilantro, and key lime, with occasional additions of arugula. That's very cleansing. I'll have to do a long form video of it soon. Yeah, I'll have a video out for that. Perhaps next week I'll drop that. But and what else will I be doing? Again, ideally, I would like to find seeded watermelon and grapes to be a part of this fast. With grapes, when you juice grapes, though, you don't need a lot. Actually, I wouldn't recommend you drink a lot of grape juice because it is one of those high glycemic, the glycemic fruits. But it's very empowering. Like, it's very powerful for your body. And grape juice is very healing. I don't know if anybody has heard of this. Let me see. The Grape Cure. I read this entire book when I was on a plane, and I really love the testimonies in there. She has documented all her research and her studies. She even shared like the chronic diseases that she was going through, and it was just a very eye-opening book for me in terms of like grapes. I knew grapes were powerful, but it was very I don't know. I just loved hearing the testimonies and seeing all the much research and discovery she found with just grapes alone. But grape juice is just very, very empowering, like very powerful for your body, and you just don't need a lot. So even if you drink like maybe 2 to 3 ounces, maybe 4 ounces, but it's not like you need a whole jar of it. You know, don't go juicing a whole bag of grapes unless you plan to spread it out within a few days. But yeah, grapes are extremely good. The funny thing is that she said that she was able to still cure many people or help many people on their health journey. I don't want to say the word cure, but help many people on their health journey with seedless grapes. Now, me personally, I'm sticking with seeded. I don't feel like there's a time where I need to go to seedless options because I have a lot of patience. Like if I can't find seeded watermelon, I'll just move on to cantaloupe and honeydew. I'm not going to go ahead and invest in seedless watermelon. And I know people have their own thoughts on that and their own studies and why it's okay and why it's not. But this is just me. You know what I mean? I'm just exercising my patience and getting what I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Not just because I'm desperate. You know, so that's just my prerogative is to seed it as much as I can. Facts. I gotta do the seeds for me personally, but I'm not knocking anybody that says they want to do, you know what I mean? They just want to have their produce. They just want to have their watermelon. I'm not knocking anybody for that. And I'm not here to enter in those debates. You know what I mean? So People just got to do what they feel. But I just said that because, you know, she said she was able to get results with seedless grapes too. So that's something to think about if you are somebody who doesn't care. But yeah, and let's see. I did say rhubarb. Rhubarb was one that I'm focused on this season as well, and I won't be consuming any herbs during this fast. It's just going to be straight juice and occasionally spring water with key lime, but no herbs. But I will be drinking herbal teas for 7 days before fasting. You know, like this, it's going to be like a pre-fast detox, and that'll help enhance, like at least like a pre-detox will help enhance my fasting experience. You know, like make it feel more comfortable and enjoyable. But so the herbal teas that I'll be consuming, my favorite blend will be the burdock root, sarsaparilla, yellow dock. I love that combination. I also have stinging nettle and dandelion. That's very good for the blood. I'm trying to do like, you know, blood cleanse. And what else? Bilberry. I have some bilberry that I just recently purchased. I just get a little baggie of bilberry because they're charging like $89 per pound for it. You know, it's not a lot when you just get those little baggies and it comes out to like $3. But if you're buying a pound, you know, bilberry is a lot. But bilberry is good for your eyes. And the thing with herbs is that you can consume them, right? But you can also apply them to your eyes. Specifically, it's eye bright herb is really good for that. But you can also do that with bilberry herb as well. And just kind of get like an eyeglass cup, pour in some of the herbal tea, allow it to cool. You don't want to burn your eyes. Don't do that when it's super hot. But allow it to cool, and you apply it to your eyes. You dump it out, rinse it, do a little clean on it so you don't infect your eyes. And then you do the same with the other eye. And that really helps. Years ago, I also practiced urine therapy on my eyes. You know, your urine first in the morning, you know, it's like the urine that you do the first in the morning, and then you apply that to your eyes as well, and it helps. It sounds crazy. Don't knock it until you research it, but it definitely did help because there's minerals in your urination, especially the first urine upon waking up. I haven't done that that was like back in 2017, but it was very beneficial. But I have a blog post if you're yeah, that's what I heard. I heard that as well. Um Sinitra. But I have a blog post if you're looking for some of the things that I mentioned, like the eyeglass cup. I have a blog post on how I improve my vision or something like that. And I have a few of the links on there as well. I'm going to continue to update that blog post and share more of the other um, different routines that I used that helped improve my vision, like gazing at the sunset and sunrise. You know, you gaze at the sun, but you do that during sunset and sunrise. That's when the sun's rays are the least violent during those times. It's golden hour, and it's not going to, you know, because you don't want to look at the sun and be straining your eyes. Like, you know, you don't want to do that because you're ultimately defeating the purpose of bettering or improving your vision. But you just want to do simple gazes at the sun. That helps. Even grounding helps. Like this is just going to be a lot of things that I'm going to be implementing within this fast. That's why I'm really excited. I don't know about y'all, but I'm finna turn up for this fast. Like I'm ready to take it to a new level and get back on to my my routine that I once was on. Because sometimes you just get sometimes I do fall off based on just trying new things. Like that's why I kind of have a schedule set up to where it allows me to still not be too far away from my discipline. Like it's Sundays and Mondays I eat cooked food. Tuesdays and Wednesdays I eat raw foods only. And then Thursdays up until Saturday or up to Saturday, I would do liquids only. And I do that every week. So that gives me that wiggle room to kind of work some things in and still not feel like I'm forcing myself to do this, or I mean, you just get that wiggle room with that schedule. So I kind of like that schedule that I created, and it makes fasting much easier to jump back into when it is time for that season. So um, yeah, but that's about it. This is going to be the first time I'm not using herbs during the fast. Well, the first time in a while. So and I'll be able to solely focus this time. I'm not clocking into an employer, and I'm not going to overwork myself on content this time around. So I'm just going to make it very comforting to where, I don't have any excuse. Excuse me. I don't have any excuses this time around. So it's going to be dope. It's going to be dope. I can't wait. And I would like to kind of tap in more. Let me see what the comments are saying. Um, Man said, what fast would I do for blood pressure and herbs? What fast would I do for blood pressure and herbs? Any fast can really get your blood pressure, you know, stabilized, and it's more so about, I guess, how fat or how you want to go about doing it. You know what I mean? A water fast can do that for you. Dry fasting, juice fasting, depending on, of course, like not the high glycemic fruits. You want to more so focus on the green produce, like the dandelion greens. That blend that I mentioned earlier, dandelion greens, arugula, that can do that for you as well. Small amounts of burdock root, if you juice that or prepare, use that herbal tea that I mentioned, that herbal tea blend, the burdock, the sarsaparilla, the yellow dock. You don't need to take it consecutively. Of course, I mean, this is more so, I'm just sharing like bits of information. Of course, you just want to see what will work best for your situation. But these are like a few of the known herbs that can help, like dandelion. What's another one? Stinging nettle was a good one. But any fast really can kind of stabilize your blood pressure. And um, I think the part with that, when people are doing it for blood pressure, the tricky part is if you're taking medications, that's something that you kind of want to consult with a practitioner that you trust, or maybe an herbalist. In that regard, you want to, what I mean, be careful with that, because a lot of times it's the medications that, it's that crutch. Because if you kind of mess with the medication, but then you're also taking certain herbs, it can get real tricky or sketchy. So you just got to be mindful of that. Um, can't recall if I addressed this one, but yeah, I think I did. I grazed on it a bit. So what I do is I just do a basic workout routine. I do this every single day. I can't skip a day. Sometimes I do. Like if I'm on vacation, there's times where I just don't do it. But it's just push-ups, sit-ups, jogging, walking around the block, pull-ups, and I have to do my stretch routine. A lot of things that involve calisthenics. So what I would advise is that you don't want to tap into weights, or maybe use lesser I guess, like say for instance, if you're lifting 200 pounds, maybe for during your fast you want to take that down to half even. But again, I wouldn't recommend using any weights outside of your body weight. But of course, there are people who do it effectively. Just like I said, test your limits and see, and do it safely. Maybe do it for the first, see how it goes within the first 3 days of fasting. I'm not even sure what type of workout you're referring to, but you just got to be gentle with how you go about it. If you want your fast to be meaningful, because sometimes we try to push ourselves to a further limit, and then the fasting experience becomes unenjoyable. You kind of, I like my fasting to feel good. You know, I want to feel good and still not be stressed out about it or feel like I've overexerted myself, because then that's taken away from my spiritual experience of fasting. Like I'm no longer tapped into the Most High, because now I stressed myself out so much. So it's all about that balance and not trying to overdo it, and allowing your fasting. Your fasting is already toning your body, to be honest. Like you'll have some killer six-pack abs, depending. I don't know how much you weigh, but or how your body is now, but a lot of people that are kind of like, I'll speak for myself, for instance, like usually after a when I do like even a 7 day fast, like my body gets ripped. Like, and then it's just after that you can start eating things that further solidifies that muscle mass that you have there, and puts on top of that, like your avocados, your hemp seeds, uh bananas, and a lot of the banana. I don't like the bananas here in the States. They seem like rubbery, you know. Baby bananas are a little better, but I only find those at Whole Foods. But yeah, a lot of those things you can kind of, you don't really need to work out while fasting, because your body just starts to tone itself. It's the insides that begins to do a lot of the work. But it's good to keep up with a workout routine if you can, especially stretching, and implement some of that meditation in there as well. Let's see where we at. Rhubarb for the first time. Okay, cool. Um, when I bought rhubarb for the first time, because I was aware of its benefits for a while now. What I didn't know was how sour it was. But lucky me, when I try juicing ingredients for the first time, I try it by itself to get an idea of what I'm dealing with. And rhubarb is super sour, but it's very good when you can balance it out, or even have a shot of it alone, but not too much. You don't only need like 4 inches of it, and then you pair it with something else. Like you pair a sour with a sweet, or a sour with a neutral, because I know rhubarb would also be good with something neutral like cucumber, or cucumber for those who No, but I'm from the islands. Like at least my parents are from the islands. I grew up when they say cucumber, but yeah, you pair it with something neutral, something sweet, or what else? What else? Something earthy even can balance it out a bit, and it's really good. But pineapple sounds good. I'm not a fan of pineapple. I always feel nauseous if I juice it, but um, that sounds good though. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I love summer. Love summer. I like spring too. Um, I feel like I've grown to a point where I can appreciate all seasons, even though I might like one more than the other based on certain preferences. Because even in the winter with cold temperature, your body is able to heal with cold temperature, even though we hate it. That's why I take a cold shower every morning, and a cold shower does wonders for your body. Your bones, your whole entire being, your vehicle feels like it's been rejuvenated with a cold shower. And I want to tap into like those ice baths, but cold showers really made me appreciate all seasons, including winter. And I remember when I was taking cold showers not too long ago, when it's like 10 degrees outside. That was hard for me to do mentally, but even those cold temperatures, it does something to you mentally. Like it's building that mental strength. But I don't think we were beings meant to be in those cold temperatures for long amounts of time. Just like, you get in there and you get out. But yeah, I love summer. I like doing walks and um gratitude. We did a family vacation out in Tennessee, and I love Tennessee because there were so many places to walk and nature was just around. Really enjoyed it. I hope maybe I can go back sometime during the summer and go on a hike of some sort. I miss being healthy. Well, what happened? S- Sorry to hear that. Hopefully you can get back to that feeling. That's what we're here for, at least. So, but yeah, I can't wait to get to the content for y'all, man. It's gonna be a great fast session. I know that for a fact, and I'm definitely gonna work on. I'm gonna collect all the ingredients for the green juice, and then I'll have it released next week, so y'all can make that too. And it tastes like grass for real. Like it tastes like a floral grass. Like it's not earthy. It's not that earthy grass taste for the green juice, but it's a green juice. Like there's no apples, no pears in it, no, not even cucumbers aren't in there. So, and usually I like to put those in there to kind of neutralize it, but it's just greens, straight leafy greens, and but your body feels so good, and I promise you, it's not too hard to stomach. I tell anybody if you ever once in your life had a shot of vodka, this green juice will be nothing for you. If you ever had a shot of Henny, this green juice will be nothing for you. And you'll actually wake up the next day feeling good, feeling lively, and not feeling like you want to curl over a toilet. So that's all the motivation I always have when I'm dabbing into the bitter herbs and the bitter greens, because that's where Mother Nature show you what's up. Like it really fine tune you. added dandelion greens to one of my juice recipes and they tore my stomach up. Maybe I used too much. That's hard to say. I wonder what all you put in your juice recipe. Like, what all did you use? I would be interested to hear it. You know, certain things just shouldn't be paired with certain things. Um, you know, because certain benefits or certain properties might contradict with one another and they could cause turmoil in our insides. So you just got to be mindful of that too. That's why I'm very selective of what I pick and what I put in my green juice. That's honestly why one of the reasons why it's been taking me so long to complete my ebook, because I have to keep going back and like, wait, all right, I want to make sure that this goes with this, and all right, this property, this benefit goes with that. Like, it's so much, you know what I mean, when it comes to juicing these ingredients and trusting it to somebody else to ensure that they're not going to have any problems. But yeah, you just got to be mindful of what you pair it with as well. That's why I always suggest that people try juicing something alone. I know juicing dandelion greens and drinking it alone first, it sounds scary because it's bitter as ever. But at least you can then pay attention to how your body's reacting to it. So there's no confusion. My body is acting this way because it's because of the dandelion. I just had that alone. My body's doing this because I just drank that. And I would also advise to do it on an empty stomach. Like when I'm testing new recipes, I wake up and like that's the first thing I'm consuming. If I really care about what it is I'm consuming, like if I'm unsure about it, like that's a whole nother level. But if you're unsure about certain things, about your body reacting to certain things, you got to try them alone, like segregate them and then see how your body is responding to it. Because if you start adding dandelion, pineapple, pear, you don't know what it is really. It could have been, it might have been the pineapple and not the dandelion. Not saying that you combined those ingredients, but that's just what it is. You know what I mean? Certain things just don't work together and certain things do, but you know, just keep that in mind. Um, when I'm trying to get rid of mucoid plaque, like for a colon cleanse, you'll often find that it's the bitter herbs that are up for that job. And that's like Cascara sagrada. That herb is nasty, nasty. I've gotten a bit used to it, but it's really nasty, man. But if you can stomach that, you know, that's really good for you. There's also wormwood. A lot of the bitter herbs that are great for your colon, they're also great for expelling parasites from your body. And that's also why you don't want to take them long term, because some of the parasites that are in our body are actually good for us, that they actually benefit us for the environment within our insides. So you don't want to do too much of it, but short term, Cascara sagrada, wormwood, black walnut hulls, or I believe they call it black walnut husk. You know, small amounts of those. But if you're patient, if you can go the mile within a fasting journey, even if you do like a water fast, and or maybe you implement some of those herbs, but over time, or lesser herbs, like lesser, it doesn't have to be even bitter herbs, right? Just like a liquid that has some properties like ginger. It's just over time, your body begins to naturally start to release those off the walls. It becomes easier for your body to cleanse itself because we really don't need no herbs. We just need time. But some people, like, the Western way of living has gotten us so used to now. It needs to happen now. Even though it took me years to build up to this point of toxicity, I want to get rid of it now. But the Most High has designed our body to where we're able to cleanse it. It's able to cleanse itself, but it just needs the time to do it. And then you also have to be mindful that you're fueling it properly, because herbs aren't really going to do much for you or anybody if we're still doing things that caused the issue to begin with. So that, what I mean, I always want to stress that point. But yeah, you just need time, honestly, to get the mucoid, the plaque, off the colon walls. Because I don't know if you even heard the story from Dr. Sebi when he said that he locked his mom in the household. She couldn't really go anywhere. Like, I mean, I'm sure she could if she really wanted to. So part of her probably wanted that healing. You know what I mean? She probably just needed that extra push from somebody, and Sebi was it. But he said he just had her drinking water and herbs. She was able to release a lot in the first couple of days, like 5 days. But even on day 30, or no, it was day 60 or something wild like that. And he said she released something from her body. You know what I mean? She knew it released from her body because, you hear that splash in the toilet. And when she look in there, it's just clear. So it was all that plaque and that mucoid just still sitting in the colon, but it was clear as day. And that just goes to show you that there's a lot of work, a lot of groundwork that we still have to clean up on. You know what I mean? A lot of groundwork. Even me, like, sometimes I'm wondering, like, when I'm on day 20 or day 30, I wonder how I'm still using the bathroom and releasing, because you think you released it all, but it's like, nah, you still got work to do. It's a good feeling when you reach that point, though. You start to be like, wow, this is what health really feels like. You thought you felt alive before, but when you start to release that, you see how much of it had you in a chokehold. You know what I mean? Like, and that's when I first started realizing that. I was like, wow, man, everybody else got to experience this. And once you experience that for the first time, it could kind of make you crazy, because you try to put everybody else on, but everybody else don't want to hear that, because nobody wants to hear what they haven't experienced for themselves. Like, they're not going to be able to relate, so they don't really care, and they're comfortable doing what they do. But yeah, once you just need time and patience, and the body will cleanse itself. But the Most High also set things around to speed up the process a bit, you know what I mean, with results, because Western way of living has things to speed things up, but it's not with good results. Oftentimes there's maybe a lot of side effects or certain things. And I don't have nothing really against Western medicine, because it has its purpose somewhat, like if you break your leg or something, like even then I feel, but you know how it is. Seems expensive. I don't wonder what she's talking about. How do you determine the measurements of your tea blend? Do you measure 1 cup of each? It really depends on the herb. Oftentimes, like if you buy loose leaf tea, it'll come on the package and it'll give you an idea of how much per cup you should be using. And I also had a book from Akil Anise. He had a book describing that as well. But I also do a lot of self-testing myself to see what really works or what's too much. But oftentimes I would say I found like I can't really go wrong with a teaspoon of loose leaf herbs. Maybe some for the stronger ones like Cascara Sagrada, I might do half a teaspoon, depending on what else I'm blending with. A lot of things go into different factors. There's not really an easy answer for it because when you start to put other concoctions together, that's where it's not always straightforward. But um, I might be interested in taking like an herbal class to even become better informed with in that area myself. Um, so I might try to do that. If not this year, sometime next year, and learn more about the process. Peace, peace, London in the building. Appreciate you for tuning in. What is considered too much burdock root in a juice? I feel like burdock root, especially wild crafted burdock root, is very powerful. So you don't need any more than 4 to 5 inches of burdock root. Now, a lot of people are getting burdock root from the Asian markets. I've tried that one before, and that's not as powerful as wild crafted, of course, right? But yeah, so if it's wild crafted, I would say 4 inches. Like if especially if you want to just take it by itself, because that's what I used to do. I used to just juice about 4 to 5 inches and drink a glass of that. Just toss it in my Revo 830 and be cool. But yeah, I would say three about 4 to 5 inches, and you should be fine for the most part. But everybody is different though. But I say 4 to 5 inches is like a safe zone. Mm, let's see. Yeah, hibiscus tea. I forgot about hibiscus tea. That definitely is good for blood pressure. I have some hibiscus tea in the cupboard as well. It's good herb. Um, I prepare that blend for my wife as well. I prepare hibiscus, hops, what a red raspberry leaf, and can't think of the other one right now. But yeah, it's very good, very beneficial for the woman, but also for the men as well though. But hibiscus tea is really good. What can help for bloating and being gassy? Yeah, I do like the burdock root. It wasn't my recipe, but I tried the burdock root, the butternut squash, the apple, and key lime, I believe. And that will clean you out. Tamarind is another good juice for bloating. You get some, prepare some tamarind juice, and that'll clean you out like within a few hours. you know, like definitely good for if you're experiencing a lot of gas or bloating. Um, and then I would say the time you eat matters too. That's why I try not to eat too close to the time that I'm going to bed because When you do that, your body's not able to properly break down the food anymore. Your body's more so going to other areas. It's more signaling itself to do other things while you're sleeping, while you're resting, and doesn't really have enough energy or time or energy to break down the food you just ate before bed. So if you can practice eating not too close to bed, maybe like give it, have your last meal, your last heavy meal around, I would say maybe 4 hours before bed, you'll be really good. You'll find that you'll be waking up with more energy. You're releasing more waste more effectively. Um, and that's the funny thing, man. Here in the States, the food is just different. You know, when I was in Rwanda, you know, that's East Africa. Like when I would eat food, I wouldn't be bloated or gassy as much as I am when I eat food here. Um, and it's just how the food is being prepared. So always try to go for organic produce, locally grown. That helps. Yeah, I love doing those quick 24 to 72 hour fasts. Like you just learn so much about yourself. You build so much discipline, and you feel very productive. Like productivity skyrockets within that short amount of time. Like a lot of people sleep on those short moments of fasting and don't recognize that a lot of healing is going on. Maybe not so much health wise, in comparison to when you start to stretch to those 7 days, 30 days of fasting, but don't sleep on the other groundwork, that mental and spiritual aspect of it, because that's where a majority of the growth is within the 24 to 72 hours. But even health wise too, though, you know, like once you can start tapping into that and you kind of build discipline, you realize I don't have to eat as much. I don't have to eat 3 meals, 4 meals within a day. I really don't. You know, I could just eat to where I feel satisfied once you break that 72 hour or 24 hour, how long you ever choose to do. But that's what I learned about doing it every week. Um, you know, and it feels effortless after a while. But yeah, we're over the 1 hour mark. I'm gonna start to wrap it up. Is anybody fasting for this summer? Anybody doing a fast? We're doing a 7 to 30 day fast. I will. What I was gonna do is come on live every week for members, but if we got more people fasting and y'all want to come up and chat about it or share more of your experience, I'll come up. I'll come on live for just for everybody. But regardless, I do plan on tapping in for members. But um, let me know if y'all plan on doing a fast, or if you want to hear updates on like what's happening in the fasting journey. And I normally don't even weigh myself, right? I don't weigh, I don't care for how much I weigh, but I will do it just because I know people are interested in that aspect. Um, you know, they want to know, oh, how much weight did you lose? Or what was the difference? You know what I mean? And none of that really matters to me, but we could all talk about that too, you know, or you know, just come together as a group or something, or but let me know. I'm starting June 21st. June 21st is when I start, but I'll be I'll be fasting before I fast, like detoxing. You know, I'm tapped into just cleansing my body. Like I said, I'm into the herbs. I'm not eating oily foods. I've already started doing that. You know, that's why I really tapped into my raw food only days. And I actually got a new video coming out soon, which will be released Tuesday, but it will be released either tonight or tomorrow for members. But it will be coming out Tuesday for everybody to see. And I came up with some cool raw meal ideas. If you're into the blog, you probably already see one of the meals though. Um, but yeah, yeah, June 21st is when we'll be starting. And like I said, if y'all want to, partake in that fast, I will be coming back on weekly. Maybe I'll make it a Friday, every Friday thing. Cool, cool. Okay. Traveling. Ooh, I like that. 30 days of juice and then completely raw through the summer. That sounds nice. Um, I'm still trying to expand my creativity in raw foods a bit more before I try to do it for a more of a longevity. Um, because sometimes it's just shaky with the produce that we have available, or maybe that's just me. And you know, given that I'm still experimenting with meals, it gets boring for me sometimes, and that's just something, you know what I mean? But I guess if I don't think about it, right? Because I technically do raw foods mostly throughout the day without even thinking about it. You just grab and go. Raw food is fast food. It's really a practice where you don't have to overthink it and you just grab and go things. Like, I just grab the pomelos, the oranges, the cherries and eat without really having to think about a meal plan and, your nuts and seeds. But it's fun when I could actually tap into like different recipes. Um, okay. Yeah, stay safe with that. Um, yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. Cistern. What is that? Let me see. Cistern water. No, I never thought about that. That's my first time hearing the term. Hey, DC in the building. Thanks for tuning in. Hey, I love that. That's what really matters is how do you feel? Are the results speaking for themselves, Like when you cut off certain things, you gotta just see how you feel, and that's where it's at right there. That the results speak. You know. I don't like wheatgrass. Like every time I try the wheatgrass, I try the shot of it. I do the thing that I advised earlier. I tried it by itself, and always my mouth starts to get watery as if I'm about to vomit, and I don't like that feeling. And I didn't really feel any different other than sick, So um, I don't like wheatgrass. Like my thing is, why make myself feel like that when I have access to other greens that are beneficial to me, like just as beneficial, if not more. So if it's working for you, I say go for it. But for me, wheatgrass is always a no for me. All right, man. I really do appreciate y'all for tuning in today. Um, Hopefully, I can hop back on live sometime next week, and maybe we'll do a live juicing session, switch it up, and get out the office. Last time I did it on my phone, and everybody seemed to enjoy that. But I'll try to set it up in the kitchen, like where we're at. It's a small space, so I'll see if I could at least move the laptop and the camera set up into the kitchen, and we do a live juicing session. I think that'll be fun. But and maybe I'll do a live test on it. Watermelon fasting, man. If I could find watermelon, I definitely would be on board with that. Um, it comes and it goes here, but I'm sure I could find it. But the ones that I find at co-op provide the best watermelons, like they're organic, locally grown. The ones at the Market District, they have them, but they're not organic, and um, but they are seeded though. So maybe I'll just go out and buy one of those and see how it is. But the ones from the food co-op taste different, like they're built different. Fasting for mental and spiritual, right? Yeah, it does wonders for that as well, and past trauma. Like I just always am. There's always something that is improving when I do a fast within myself. So I speak so highly of it. Like if that's one of the greatest things I took away from Dr. Sebi is fasting. Um, and of course, being mindful of the ingredients. Like if you could just stick to one ingredient, like raw ingredients, just learned a lot from his knowledge, and it just it's fasting is just has been a game changer for me. 30 to 60 days. Nice. Yeah, the goal is to release some of the toxins that I got inside. Uh, I know a lot of people. I'm not too, be honest. I'm not too informed on candida. I got to do a little more research. I do have somebody that was more educated in that area, and I know red onions, where they would steep red onions. They said that helped a lot. I think it was Healthy Ash that was used to be on that, but yeah, red onions that I heard were very good for that. Kind of like make a tea, kind of like a tea or a broth with red onions. That was really good for it. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. I try to prioritize raw foods around this time, just because the produce is in abundance. Maybe not as much as it is in Florida, but you find a lot more gems in the June, July, August. August is my birth month, so I always find excellent produce in August. Um, and not to add, my dad has been getting the sour sop in too more. We're trying to also get more of the other fruits like the Spanish lime, but they also call it guinep. That's what it's called in Jamaica. And guinep is really good too. So only thing is you can't really juice the guinep like that. You can, but not in a way you would with a juicer. But I just like to eat them too. You know, really good. Just got a Nama J2. That's what's up. I think Nama J2 is a great juicer. It's a good juicer. If you have the Nama J2, if you have the Kuvings Auto 10, you can't lose. Um, if you have the pure juicer, you know, that press juicer where it squeezes the juice with that press, you really winning. But I feel like with the pure juicer, who wants to keep pulling it out and using it? Like it's you're less likely to use that every day with the pure juicer. But the Nama J2 is a good juicer. That's what's up. I'm happy for you. Oh, okay. I never knew that. Um, I never knew that. Thank you. Because when I looked it up, they're talking about water tanks. So yeah, that's you learn something new every day. So I did the celery juice for about a week. You know, I tested it on my own, and this is when I tried Yaki's juice. You know, the Yaki Awakened juice. And I think celery is a great. It's good for some people. You know, what I mean, I just don't feel like I'm one of those people. Especially people. I guess people, maybe some people that watched it, well, maybe I'll say the very few people that watched that video where I did my final thoughts on it, didn't really understand where I was getting at when I said it's sodium levels. It's unnatural sodium levels, and it's not that it's bad for you. It's just higher. It has a higher amount than other produce that's available that I could benefit from, like fennel or rhubarb is one. And at least the sodium, like if you're juicing, you for me, I have to be mindful of certain contents. Like that's where the content of sodium becomes more significant to me. And again, it's a very small amount. I'm just comparing it to other vegetables that's out there that is a better option for me. So it would be like the fennel, the rhubarb, and in terms of vision, that sodium that sodium wouldn't be good for me in the long run. But when I tried it, I felt good though. I just knew that juicing with it in the long run wouldn't benefit me, but I'm not taking away from anybody else's testimony. It's just it's not going to be good for what I'm trying to do with my vision improvement in the long run, and that's why I don't really deal with it anymore. But I think it's great for those who are using it to lose weight. You know what I mean? Like if you're really losing it, using it to lose weight, it's going to cleanse your body very well too. But again, you know what I mean? Not to be redundant, but I find better options in terms of juicing, you know? So it's good for many, just not for me. Okay. Hey, have anybody been finding the yellow watermelons? I have yet to try a yellow watermelon or an orange watermelon. Um, I look forward to the day where I could try one of those and compare the taste. I'm curious to know how it tastes in comparison to the red. Do you like anybody who has tried it? Do you prefer red? Do you prefer yellow? Or is there really any difference in taste? Let me know. But I think 5 days on a watermelon juice fast is nice. I did it for 24 hours and it was great. Of course, I've done longer too. I'm just speaking at least last year, but I love watermelon, like especially a good watermelon. Like the co-op has the Sweet Beauty watermelons. They're like the small, elongated watermelons, but they you get a lot of yield and juice from those small melons, and they weigh a lot too. They're heavy, but they're really good. Um, yeah, Janisha, there's a book that explains urine therapy better. Um, Let me see if I know the book. Give me one moment, because I remember I had the book somewhere. Because I don't knock anything. I like to do my research. Yeah, it's called. The book is called. Um, Maybe if I can share this affiliate link. Let me know if y'all can see it. It's called The Water of Life. So it's an interesting book. I haven't completed it all the way through. Um, but from what I've read, it's pretty good. Yeah, that's a fact. You got to fast from the crap music, TV, and what you read and people. You got to fast from people too, and that's where it gets challenging because certain people you just have to be around, or you don't have to. Nobody has to do anything, but if you're being reasonable, you know what I mean? We can't just hide under a rock during our fast. So that's where the areas where people don't speak on a lot when it comes to fasting. Like everybody's talking about the benefits and how long they did and how much weight they lost, but nobody really talks about the struggles, the hurdles about fasting from your surroundings, but still being tuned in. There's that fine balance that is it's not easy to master that. You know what I mean? Because you just still have to absorb, if you will, or be able to learn how to tune it out. Because I see a lot of things, I hear a lot of things, but I don't absorb a lot of things. Like if when I'm taking my daughter to soccer practice, you got to listen to all the crap music being played. When you're driving around in your car, somebody's playing their crap music loud, It's just there's a lot of things to where you just don't have control over what other people do, but it's how you respond and how you react that can further strengthen you, you know what I mean, during the journey. And that's the beauty of it, you know what I mean? You get to see your your emotional aspects as well and how you manage things. So that's why I love about fasting, because I still see areas where I could fine tune some things, you know, like and how I react to certain things. Like sometimes you are in control, but um, yeah, that's the beauty of it. You get to learn a lot about yourself, you know, and and I like that you dropped that too, because it's definitely important. I use mine every week. Oh yeah, they came up with the large hopper too, because Kuvings Auto 10 used to be the only one with that large hopper, and they came up with the cool Nama J2 came out with one. I also like their citrus attachment. I probably wouldn't use it, but I like the fact that their citrus attachment is like stainless steel, so that's pretty cool. And one thing that I really will say about Nama J2 is, I mean, it's a small point, but their packaging is like top tier. Like they really think about it's very eco-friendly. So I was very impressed when I saw the unboxing of the Nama J2. Is it's top tier. But with that being said, I really do love the Kuvings Auto 10. Like I use it every single week, almost every day. Um, but they're both great juicers, and they both have great warranties. Whether you go with the Nama or whether you go with the Kuvings, great warranty. And from what I've experienced with Kuvings, their customer service as well too. Mm. Yes, 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 that's a fact. What works for one person doesn't work for the next. You can't do what everyone does. That's true, of course. And that's why I always tell people, you don't gotta join me on the journey, but you can walk with me, you know, walk with me. And we all support each other. And that's the beauty of fasting, is you get to recognize your limits and the threshold on what you're willing to push through or overpass. That all becomes further clear within the vision of bettering yourself. So, you know what I mean? That's the beauty of it. Everybody's on their own journey. But at the end of the day, I'm going to continue representing how I choose to live my life. You know, I understand that what I do can be taken as influence, but my content creation, I want it to be as a form of inspiration and not influence. And that's what I always try to encourage people to figure out what works for you. I even have people who come on my channel and try to tell me, yo, you can't do that. But I'm doing it, and I'm doing it effectively too. But these are people behind the screen who type, and they see, they'll see what I eat in a day or how often I fast and tell me what I can't do. But a lot of people are speaking from what they can't do and don't even realize what they can do. You know what I mean? But that's just how it is. Not everybody can or should do it, but we got to hold everybody should be held accountable to figure that out. There should be no form of influence that made you do this or made you do that, because at the end of the day, you got to be accountable. Yeah, and this is something where you would have to do some further research and see how that supplement, you know, how does it affect you? Like, what does it do for you with and without? And figure out, are the things that you're implementing within your fast, is it going to couple? I mean, is it going to cover what that supplement was doing? You know, I don't take supplements. Like, I let all the fruits, the vegetables, the herbs supplement me. So I wouldn't really know, but that might be something where if you want to talk to your practitioner or an herbalist you trust, or somebody within the field that um, will be able to help advise you, but also, you know, just reflect and see how that supplement affects you with and without. Like, how do you feel with it? How do you feel without it? And that'll really, you know, I mean, that'll give you an answer that you're looking for. Okay, red watermelon is sweeter than yellow. And yellow watermelon is sweeter than orange. Okay, so it goes red, then yellow, then orange. They say that yellow is the most beneficial, but I don't know how true that is. They all taste the same to me. Okay. Yes, yes. I have done a mono fruit fast. I've done it with watermelon and I've done it with grapes. And that's where, when I do a mono fruit fast, I kind of do all forms of eating. Like, I'll eat it as is. I'll juice it. I'll blend it up. Just try different methods and have fun with it to make it feel different. That way you don't get bored with it. Um, but mono fruit fasting is really, I really enjoy it. It makes things simple too. When you think that you don't have to figure out what you're going to eat, you know for a fact you're going to eat this tomorrow and the next day, given that it's available. Um, but those are the only fruits that I really do a mono fruit fast on. I try to do those with foods that have a high water content and that I know I would enjoy. Like, it would feel fun for me. I wouldn't feel like, ah, man, here we go, cucumbers again tomorrow. I saw a lot of people doing cucumber challenges, and um, I wouldn't be able to do that one. You know, but yeah. So let's see. My daughter has the J2, and I'm not a fan. Oh, really? What don't you like about the J2? The only thing I would be skeptical about with the J2 is maybe its power output. You know, spec wise, the Auto 10 is just a little bit more powerful. But even with the Auto 10, like, I have the Auto 10 and the Revo 830. The Revo 830 is built different. It has a more vertical auger. So it's able to, like, say if you want to make sorbet or smoothies, I would more so lean towards the Revo 830 rather than the Auto 10. The Auto 10 can still get it done, but that vertical auger makes it more suitable to handle those functionalities of it. And especially like if I'm making coconut milk with the mature coconut, that white meat is very hard. It wouldn't, you would have to, in order to do it with the Auto 10, or I'm going to even say the Nama J2, even though I don't have it, I just know for a fact it's not going to be able to handle that coconut meat the way it's intended to be juiced with the Auto 10 or the Nama J2 because it's self-feeding. But with the Revo 830, you manually feed it so you can kind of manage the timing better, like add a little bit of coconut meat and then add a little bit of warm water, add a little, like, and then keep doing that in rotation rather than loading it up and then walking away. It's not going to work like that when you're trying to make coconut milk. So it's just small things like that. Is why I still do like the Revo 830, even though I think the Auto 10 is still the better juicer, but the Revo 830 is the better all around juicer, if that makes sense. Like. So I do juice the rind. And not to say that you should, but there is some benefits in the rind. Like, only thing is it's just going to take away from the sweetness a bit and give it a more uh orangish greenish color when you do that. So if you don't want to sacrifice your sweetness of the juice for that extra benefits that's in the rind, then yeah, I would just stick with it. But I like to juice the rind as well. Um, and it really depends on how sweet the watermelon is, because not all watermelon are like sweet. But if it's like super sweet, then sometimes that tells me the rind was meant to be juiced with it then for that balance, because it'll still be sweet but not overly sweet. So yeah, I guess it depends, but nothing wrong with that. Can you break your fast with eating grapes? Yes, you can, but I wouldn't recommend eating the seeds because that's going to be hard on the digestive system as a reintroduction to fibrous foods. Like anytime you want to avoid nuts, seeds, and grains, and that also goes for seeds and fruits. Like if you're eating watermelon or grapes, I just would avoid eating the seeds though, to start out with. Even though they do have, they're very beneficial, it just wouldn't do you any good upon breaking your fast, especially if it's been a long, extensive fast that you're breaking, like 30 days. It could be very painful. You'll have to gradually build up to it. So, yeah. Yeah, nice. Um, that's funny because I couldn't find any when I was in Tennessee. And Tennessee is right next to North Carolina. But maybe they just weren't in season because it's technically, you know May's technically not the season for watermelon, but I was expecting to see more produce, more organic produce than I did see there. But to be fair, I wasn't hitting the farmers markets out there. So I want to visit South Carolina, North Carolina, and Tennessee again and check out the farmers markets there. But what I really can't wait to do is just travel out the country and try some of the produce because anytime you're out the country, it just hits different. You know, the soil, the sunlight, you know, that exposure to sun that the produce is getting, it's just different. And therefore it tastes different and therefore it affects you differently. It's just the trifecta, you know. 20 minutes to juice. Wow. Okay. Right, right. You don't have to pre-cut. Um, yeah, I think with that is at least with the J2 and the Auto 10s, is that you need it to be the produce has to be firm. The firmer the better. Otherwise it'll be like a slushy. I haven't really ran into that issue with my Auto 10 or Revo 830 yet. So, and I've had them for a while. That's good. Nah, I don't think juicing apples is always mushy. Like, I think I got a screenshot of me juicing apples here. Maybe I'll share it with y'all. This one scene while I do have y'all on. Um, will it work? Yeah, I haven't really ran into issues where it was mushy. Let me share. Like here's the scene where I'm juicing apples, right? I put them in whole, and you see it's not really. Wait, hold up. Sorry, I'm trying to. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it does a pretty good job. It's just the apples have to be firm. Here's a different angle. Let me see. Yeah, I've never had a problem with mushy apples in my Auto 10. But and it cleared it all the way out. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's never been a problem for me. Um, I try to show. That's why I like to do the live sessions with juicing because you know when I juice them on the content, you know, for the chopped up videos, they're edited, so you can't really see that it's really getting through this produce and squeezing it hard, like very well within just 2 minutes most of the time. So um, I love mines, man. I haven't had any problems with it. I've had it. I've had the Auto 10 since November. No, I actually had it in October, but I didn't use it until November. So You figure that's a good while now. And a Revo 830 even longer than that. I had that for 2 years now, 2 years plus. So good juicers from my experience. Um, but yeah, I think that's it today. I'm not gonna hold y'all any longer. I really do appreciate y'all for showing up to the live today. And really excited to dive into this fasting content. But again, thank you so much. And yeah, be on the lookout. New video is going to release on Tuesday. Again, for the members, I'll have it out maybe tonight or tomorrow. That way you guys can view that early. I'll try to put all the links that I used. The recipes will be in there as well. So be on the lookout for that. But definitely check out the blog. I already have the recipe on a blog post for the raw pad thai. So yeah. Yeah, I wanted to. That's the thing with apples. Normally, I do remove the seeds, right? Because they say that they are poisonous, but that's with large amounts. Like you got to be juicing like a ton, like bags and bags of apples, and drinking all that juice within like a very short setting to experience any type of effects from what they say could be received from the seeds. But it is best practice, though. I'm not negating that fact at all. But when I'm just juicing like small amounts of apples, like 4 or 5, I don't. I'm not going to. Sometimes I'll just toss them in there, and I've been okay. I've been doing that for a while, and other than that, if I'm doing maybe I'm juicing tons of apples. Like before, I used to have I bought like a whole case of green apples, and I would do bulk juicing with the green apples, cucumber, dandelion greens. That was that green juice I made. I would always cut open the apples because it was just so much. But when I'm just doing small amounts, I don't do that. But you know what I mean? To each their own. That's best practice for sure. But other than that. Yeah, one of the best all green juice cleanses that I can recommend from what I've created. I can't speak for what anybody else has done, but it's that cilantro, dandelion greens, watercress, key lime. Or if you want to really take it old school from the other recipe I did, it's dandelion greens, cucumber, key lime, green pepper, and ginger. A thumb of ginger is really good for you. Tastes pretty good too, and it doesn't even have any fruit in there. So, I mean, these are fruits in a way, botanical fruits, some of them. But yeah, but that's an interesting take. uh, yeah, but yeah, again, thank you all so much for coming to the live session. Um, Definitely will consider maybe spinning the block and coming back within an update or so, but you'll definitely be notified if that is the case. Yeah, so I usually do juice enough for them to have as well. My wife really loves the burdock, butternut squash, and what else was it? Apple and key lime. Very good blend that she enjoys. Uh, my daughter loves the tamarind juice. With my daughter, she's more like finicky though. Like if she hears certain things is in it, she's just not going to want to try it. So sometimes I don't even tell her what it is. because I know if it tastes good, she's still gonna enjoy it. But if she hears something like dandelions are in it, or um, butternut squash, butternut squash sounds weird for a juice. She's not going to even try it. But they do drink the juice too, though. I'm just more heavy on it, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's more me, but I always make sure I save a portion because it's just I indirectly invite them to it, you know what I mean? Sometimes they help me juice too, so, but I never want them to feel like they're forced to do it, or like I'm pushing it to them or anything like that. So but yeah, they really do enjoy the juice, and it's a fun experience too. So that's how that is. But I'll catch you all later. And until next time, peace, God.